murder therapy with Dolltok. Go ahead, do it. You
Murder.
were
Sorry.
you
Okay.
all just understand how much we love you and how dedicated we are to this project because we have sacrificed Ryan's blood pressure and sanity to make this project even possible.
Facts.
We have had way more technical difficulties than I think anybody has ever had with, yeah, it just. So we're going to be completely honest.
We
We
have to be.
recorded this. Yeah, we have to be. We have to be. Just because the storylines that go with this are fantastic. But we had originally recorded this last Wednesday. And it was beautiful. It was great. We got great reactions with Ashley because she had never heard of this case that we're covering tonight, which is a lot different than what we normally cover. I
Yeah.
will, spoiler alert, there's not murder, but we do have a body involved in this case. There is, it definitely was against the law what happened. It is true crime to a T. But it literally, I guess it completely digitalized everything when Ryan was going back and playing it, and he's like, we have no choice but to re-record. So it is officially May the 28th. On No, we're on Tuesday. I keep wanting to say Monday because I was off yesterday. But it is May the 28th. It's Tuesday evening, and we are recording to make sure that you guys get this in real time. I guess I don't want to say today or tomorrow, or
Yeah.
I feel weird being like today, even though we're not in today.
The following Wednesday after this episode, but this is like attempt number 3, so people are like fully
Yeah,
aware.
we love you. Yeah,
The-
we love you. But the most well, I can't tell them now about when we got to that part in the episode because then that's going to be a spoiler alert for them. Where what we were talking about earlier with your reaction.
oh yeah. Well, wait, and we'll tell you about it. We'll just
Yeah,
let you in
we'll
on the
wait till we get
secrets.
to that part.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you don't
but
get the raw, real reactions this time, but it's okay.
I think she'll still make reactions because this episode's just really disgusting.
So weird. It is so weird, you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. But yeah.
I love it. She's like, I can't wait for you to hear
Oh
it.
God, my
Okay.
head hurts.
Already? We haven't even
I
started. Does your
it's
head hurt because the technical difficulties that we've
yes,
had?
and
Or does
just
your head
know
hurt because you're.
we've got some ideas to fix it, but we want to get this knocked out so it loads for you guys. So we did what we could.
Yeah, listen, we're so dedicated to getting this recorded. We went back
Yeah.
to the original platform. And if you've been listening since day one, we had Craig. Remember, Craig got, he was
Craig.
terminated forever ago because he sounded demonic.
Ugh.
You all didn't hear him, but we had to listen to him. I thought Craig was about to come back tonight.
Mm.
He was going to come in full form and been like, y'all shouldn't never fucking terminated me.
That's that's why we're
Yes,
having all these
yeah,
technical
Craig.
problems. It's Craig in the background.
It's
He's
Craig.
messing
That's
everything up.
exactly what it is. It's
Hmm.
Craig.
He
Damn
said,
it. All
"Come
right, Ryan's
back
got to
to
bring
me."
Craig back.
That cute
Like,
little bear,
he
beaver. I
wasn't
don't know
that
what
cute. He sounded awful.
he
He
sounded
sounded very
awesome.
evil.
He sounded awesome.
He
Just leave
no
him alone.
sounding awesome and never mind. I'm not even he was
Recording.
awful. Recording now. That's what he sounded.
He's
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
Serious talk. So you guys aren't here to listen to me make fun of Craig. You're here to listen
Craig.
to really weird, morbid shit, right? And boy, are we going to cover something extremely
Woo.
morbid. We are talking about Count Carl von Kossel. I think I'm saying that correctly. And he's
You have to. It sounds fancy.
it does. It does. He is a I don't even know what the word you would use for him. He's a cluster. And that's what will that yeah, he's a cluster. He should have been Count Cluster Carl. But he's not really a count. Spoiler alert. He's not really a count. He gave himself that count title. He yeah.
He's
But
self-entitled
we're
count.
he's a self-entitled count. This
Hmm.
is correct. So old Count Karl von Kostel was from Germany. He was born February 8th of 1877. So we're kicking it really old school, okay? Really old school. He was married. He had two children, both girls. I can't remember their names, but one of the daughters ended up dying of some form of a childhood illness, which was very common during those times. You know, they didn't have all the vaccines and things that we have now. So, yeah. Him and his wife ended up relocating to Florida. He managed to get into Florida, and then he decided that he was just going to be a really shitty human being and just leave his wife and kids behind in whatever part of Florida it was that they were in. And he proceeded to go to Key West, Florida. And that is where all our fuckery is going to happen, is in Key West, Florida.
Oh, the
Okay.
keys.
Yes, old Key West.
Yeah.
So the thing about Carl is he likes to tell stories, not like once upon a time stories. He likes to talk about the fact that he's a doctor, which he was not. Obviously, he'd already gave himself this title that he was a count, which he was not. He claimed that he had 19 degrees. Maybe he had one. I'm assuming because with his profession, I would imagine that he had a form of a degree. I would hope that you had a form of degree, but I don't think he had 19 of them. I don't think he had enough time to accomplish all these things that he says that he
Lord.
accomplished. He claimed that he built planes. He just, I mean, he did, Carl did a lot. And of course, back then, people, you didn't have the internet. It's not like you could Google and make sure that, yeah, they're
Is he a
not,
real
they're,
doctor?
yeah, they were like, cool. What's up, Count Dr. Carl Van Kassel? Yeah.
Sounds like a
So
vampire.
he's, maybe he was. I don't know. I don't,
Von Kassel.
uh, yeah. I'm probably not even saying it right, but that's what it's spelled, VonCosel, which I'm sure you've already picked up if you're seeing our little banner of, it's his real name was Carl Tanzler. Like again, he wasn't that fancy, but whatever. So, Carl, he's working in a hospital in Key West, Florida, as a radiology technician, which is a really profound job. So I don't understand if he had his degree and maybe in this field, why he found the need to be like, I build planes and all this. Like, you have a pretty badass job, Carl. So I don't, he does. He wears a lot of hats. Now, it's important to remember that one of Carl's big tales that he told is that as a small child, he would have an ancestor visit him, and this was Countess Anna. Maybe that's where the count came from. I don't know. But Countess Anna was like, Carl, I'm going to show you who your true love is going to be. And excuse me, presented him with this very exotic woman with dark hair. Of course, she had to be exotic. She could, she couldn't just be average or anything. So he was bound and determined that he's gonna find his soulmate, his vision soulmate, whatever the hell you want to call her. Because Countess Anna said that this was going to happen.
So is Countess
So
Anna, was she like a real person or was she like a thought in his head?
no, this was a vision that he had as a small child. Countess Anna was not real. This was his like ancestor, I guess. I don't know. We just know that it was Countess Anna. If you really want to get technical, her name was, I will read it for you, Countess Anna Constantina von Kossel.
Oh, well, okay.
So yeah, she wasn't like this aunt that would sit him down and be like, one day, Carl, you're gonna be married to a very exotic woman. No, this only happened in his dreams.
Jeez.
Okay. Yeah, only in his dreams. So again, Carl's working as a radiology technician, right? We're going to fast forward. Fast forward.
Jump in time.
Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos. I'm probably not saying any of this correctly, but
All
she goes
these
by Elena.
names are a
I know these
mouthful.
names. I don't
Can't.
know if that was like the common, like, thing back then. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. But Elena, I'm sorry, it's Elena. And I keep wanting to call her Maria. And I think I did that when we first recorded.
Maria.
But yeah, Maria, Maria. But Elena she's a big key in today's case because all right, yeah, I don't even know how to put it into words. There's no really way
Uh,
that you can. You just got to go full force
it,
into it. Like, oh, yeah. So she
bizarre.
comes into the hospital. She is Cuban descent. Her family had migrated from Cuba. She has tuberculosis. This is the happening time when people had got tuberculosis.
Yeah.
There's a 99% chance during that time frame if you had tuberculosis, your ass is going to die. Like
They're in
there's
those
no
weird
cure.
hospitals. Like, oh,
Yes.
sad.
Well, she has tuberculosis. And here, I don't know if they happened to pass each other in the waiting room. I don't know if perhaps she was ordered something in the radiology department. I don't know. All I know is old Carl laid eyes on her, and boom, there she is. That's the soulmate that Countess Anna promised him.
The
And
girl
it's
of
like
his dreams, literally.
his vision soulmate. It was his vision soulmate.
Oh.
No, yeah, I guess she must have been like the first exotic woman he ever laid eyes on. I'm very confused. I don't understand because I'm like, you were in Key West, Florida. Like, you had to see a lot more exotic women. So why her? Like, why her?
It's
But
spicy down
whatever.
there.
Yeah, well, he's so creepy. He's just so creepy. All
Oh,
right.
they don't even know.
So she's dying, obviously, of tuberculosis. She's there for some relief. I'm assuming that they have discharged her because she gets to go home, and Carl is immediately infatuated. So I'm guessing that the family didn't speak good English because he's showing up at the house, to take care of her. And I'm assuming they're like, wow, this guy from the hospital, he's wanting to, he's providing care and he wants to save Elena. So I'm sure that's probably why they were so accepting. They had no idea what they were, what was the aftermath after that. But Carl is stealing from the hospital, like he's bringing all kinds of things. But on top of him bringing this medical equipment to try to save Elena, he's also showering her with chocolates and flowers and jewelry. And she's like, no, thank you. I don't need a diamond necklace. I want to be able to breathe and die in peace.
I don't want your chocolates. I'm dying.
I don't want you. Mind you, at this time, she's young. I think I forgot to mention that. She's only 20 years old. Plus, I had read that she actually was married at one point before,
Oh.
got pregnant, had a miscarriage, so she kind of had some trauma in her life. The husband was MIA. I don't know if he just kind of left or if something happened there, and I don't know, but she already had some trauma there. Much less did she need Carl's fucking trauma while
Good
she's
lord. She's
dying.
sitting here
Like,
trying to die and he's just like smothering her. I couldn't.
yeah, he's like, I'm in love with you, and she's like, I can't love right now. I can't fucking breathe.
No,
Like,
right? And
I am dying of tuberculosis.
I understand too that there was a lack, like there was a disconnect in the language. However, why did her family
I don't
not
know if
find that
that's a
weird?
good point. Well, again, I don't think that they had a lot of money. Obviously, I guess until you're put in that predicament when you're losing a loved one, you
Fair.
know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't really know how you're going to react. We can sit there and say that we would do all these things, but we really truly don't know how we would react in that moment.
Yeah. True.
I would I mean, looking at the man, as creepy as he is, and he's showing up with chocolates and flowers, I probably would have been like, "Sir, I'm going to need you to leave." Like, and don't ever come back.
These flowers
Take your
remind
x-ray
me of my
machine.
life. They are going to die like me.
Take your x-ray machine back to the hospital and don't ever show up ever again. She doesn't need an x-ray. That's not going to help her
I've
in
never
any
had
way.
a
She's
man give me an
dying. Like,
x-ray machine. That's
it's like you've never had an x-ray of any kind before.
no, those plenty. I was a softball player, but no man's ever given me an x-ray machine.
Ryan, when you listen to this, you need to step up. You better get Ashley an X-ray machine. Like, I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, how
All
much money
right.
would it save you down the road?
Well, they also, if you think about it, they really couldn't afford the medical bills either.
True.
So it's very well possible that it's like, all right, home health. Carl started home health before that was even a thing. We just don't even know.
Hey,
Like, yeah,
you should have
yeah.
patented it.
So obviously, Elena does not make it. Unfortunately, she ends up passing away,
No.
and Carl is like, "Yo, don't worry about paying for a funeral. I got you." And do you think that Carl had Elena buried? No.
No, he's
No,
a
no, he
creep.
didn't.
He's a creep.
Yeah, I love it. You're like, no, he's a creep. He is
He's
such
a
a creep.
creep.
He
Yeah.
built her a mausoleum that's the size of a damn BP station. I'm not making that up. You have to Google it. This mausoleum is intense to put
So,
her in.
because I know about this case now, I did Google it.
You
Holy
did?
shit.
It's
This
the
thing
size of
was
a fucking
like,
BP store.
you could rent this out as an event hall. Like, it was ridiculous.
It's a really badass mausoleum.
Yeah.
I mean, he did do good, but so yeah, Elena has this mausoleum. Carl is the only person that has a key to this mausoleum. Okay.
Weird.
And
So weird.
yeah, so weird. Listen, if Nathan puts me in a mausoleum and is the only one that has a key, you need to be concerned. And I expect people to.
What are you doing in there, Nathan?
Yeah, what are you doing in there, Nathan?
I'll fight him
He
for
would
the
just come
key.
to aggravate me. He,
I'll tell him your dad
he's
said he
being
needs
my
the key.
security.
Oh, he.
He's my
I'll turn
security.
you into a punch bag.
He's walking by. He said, "I'm turning you." That's so terrible.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god. Okay. Anyways, I know that was awful. All right, here we go. Yeah. So he's got her in this mausoleum now. And I know you're like, wow, that was really quick. So what's Carl going to do? Because Elena's dead, and that was his vision soulmate. So what's Carl going to do? Well, he's going to visit her every day for 2 years because doesn't everybody go visit their vision soulmate in a mausoleum for
Nobody
two
just
years and
moves
spare
on.
Nathan? Don't you embalm the love of your life every day for 2 years because they're going to come back. In his mind, she's going to come back to life.
Nathan needs
Okay.
to file for a divorce if that's what you think. I'm just saying.
And Nathan,
Or
I don't
never
think he's
die.
going to.
Or never die.
No, listen, I'm telling you, if Nathan, he better never do this to me ever. Like, at all. At all. Period.
I won't let
No
him
one
do
should.
it.
You better not. I wouldn't let Ryan do that to you.
I
But one of us
appreciate it.
has to die before the other one.
Oh
So,
gosh.
like, yeah, anywho. So, Carl's visiting this every day. And I know people are probably thinking, well, how do we know that he visited this every day? Well, the cool thing is, if you become infatuated with this case, you can go online, right? And you can find Carl's diary or journal or whatever you want to call it. And this is how we know this story because he wrote about his, you know, nightly adventures going and visiting Elena in her mausoleum. And he would serenade her, he would cuddle with her, he would all the look on her.
I God, it's still weird. I wish you guys would have seen the first episode because my face just like never changed.
Oh, I love this one. Um, but I think they would kind of serenade each other because he would say that her spirit would come and sing in Spanish to him. So maybe that kind of answers your question about the like like the love language. Sorry, this was not love at all. Let me
No,
correct
this was
myself.
infatuation, like for sure.
Yes, this was obsession, and could you would you consider it stalking, even though she's dead? I would consider this stalking.
That's a good question.
Mm,
I mean,
interesting.
if they're dead, is it stop? I mean,
Well, she hasn't consented to any of this.
Oh.
whatsoever. She turned him down
I,
even when she was alive. So
we're gonna
let
go
her
off that.
rest.
She didn't want you when she was alive, so this is all.
Show. I don't think that she wanted you when she was dead. But he claims in his entries that she would come and sing, Spanish love songs to him.
Oh
And
Lord.
this went on every single night for 2 years. He was dedicated.
To the point his
So in
neighbors knew his routines.
yes, the people had recognized there's Carl going and visiting that mausoleum. And what bothers me is the fact that no one questioned, like, what the fuck are you doing in there, Carl,
He was
every
just a
night?
heartbroken man.
You don't get to be heartbroken when someone wouldn't consent to your love offerings. I'm sorry. That's not right.
Ugh.
So in April of 1933, Carl's, on his every night date visiting his vision soulmate, as always. And this is when Elena comes to him and she says, I'm kind of tired of being in here. I think it's time that you take me home. So what do you think Carl did?
Wait, you said he literally had a vision where she said that to him.
Yes, she came to him and she said that she's sick of being in this damn place and I'm ready to go home, Carl. So what did Carl do?
Not
Well,
take her home.
he got his red
I can't even. I forgot about this part.
he, he got his red wagon and he wheeled her on home. Like he just got her body out and he's like, "All right, Elena, let's go home." I'm being serious, people. I'm not making that up. He literally did put her in a toy wagon.
He
I don't
did.
know if it was red or not, but when I talk about it, I think about the red flyer wagon. You know what I'm
For
talking
the
about?
sake of the
And
story, that's going to be what the wagon was, you guys. Because
it was red in my story. It was red, but there was a wagon, and he put her remains in the wagon, and off they went because she said that she was tired of being in there. And he had to respect the look on your face.
just
What are
because the
you
more we
thinking?
talk, yeah, the more we talk about it, more things. My brain, you guys, I have ADD, and it just like, um, I'm just picturing him walking down the street with his radio flyer, and obviously back then,
Yeah, that's it. That
radio
was it. Radio
back
flyer.
then they were metal, so you're hearing it just up and down the sidewalk.
It's not funny. We shouldn't be laughing, but it's like,
And then nobody
and I need,
looked. Nobody looked at him. Nobody saw a dead body just laying in the. Did he wrap her up? I need to know the answers to these questions.
well, let's think about it. If you've seen this happening, if you're, I guess, in your horse and buggy during that time, I don't know. Did they have cars then? I don't know. And you're just riding by and you see this, are you going to stop and be like, this doesn't look right?
Wait,
Nothing about
if
this
there was a
situation
horse and
seems.
buggy, it wasn't a radio flyer. You just ruined it.
I don't know what was going on in 1933. Did they have cars?
No, I don't know. Sorry,
I
not
don't
my
know.
area of expertise. I think they did.
So
I think
maybe it
they're just
wasn't.
coming
Well, it was a
about.
wagon. He documented that it was a wagon. So maybe it wasn't a red wagon. But the point is, it was a toy wagon.
Toy wagon.
And that's
Okay.
what he put her in. That's what he put her in. And that's what he took her, you know, home in.
Okay.
Not very romantic, Carl. I'm just going to throw that out there, but whatever.
And he took her to his home, not hers.
Yes, to his home, not her home. He
Where
took
she's
her
never
to
been
his home.
alive.
Yes. And obviously, she's been dead 2 years.
Oh, it has been two
So think
years.
about
Yeah.
it's been 2 years. Yes, it's been 2 years. So she's just a little gross, like
Mm.
she's kind of decaying because he did embalm her. I don't know how he got access to embalming, but he did. He did embalm her,
Well, he's a
but
doctor.
well, he claimed that he was a doctor. Claiming and being are two completely different things, but he he's got to fix her. He's got to make her look pretty. So what does Carl do? Well, he starts by sewing her bones back together with piano wire. He started wrapping her body in silk fabric to replace the skin. And I've read that he dipped it in oils, but I've also read that there was wax. And if you look at the pictures of her, because you can Google this, that's the thing. You can pull her up online. I encourage you to look at her
Don't do
before
it.
then so
Don't
you
do
don't
it.
remember her after the case because she was a really beautiful girl.
Don't.
Elena was gorgeous,
She was.
but when
She,
Carl
yeah.
got done with her, oh, Jesus,
Oh
Mary
God,
and
you
Joseph and
guys.
all the other biblical characters.
Okay, so now that you mentioned Googling, don't do it, but don't do it. So
Do it,
God, I
do
wish
it, but
so
don't do it.
badly you guys got to see the original episode because she's telling me this, she's getting me my raw reactions, and all of a sudden Ryan, because he at one point was monitoring this, he can hear, and I get a message that comes up with a link while we're recording, and I open it up, and it's a picture of her after he did what he did to her. Oh my God. That poor soul just, oh geez. Like when Jody was telling me, I was like, oh, why does that sound like I could only picture like Cynthia from the Rugrats. I said that. I was like, Cynthia.
And it's not even remotely close to
No.
Cynthia at
She
the.
looked like something out of the Grudge, you guys. Like, truthfully.
Oh, it's so bad.
It was terrifying, but she
I haven't
was.
even finished telling them everything that
I
they've
know.
done. He's done
Sorry,
to
go
the
ahead.
body. Like,
But don't
no,
Google
you're
it.
good.
Don't Google it.
No, you need to Google it. Don't listen to her. You need to Google it
Okay.
because I think that getting the idea in your head just makes it all that much better.
Fair.
Just Google it. Don't
Brings
listen
the
to
story
Ashley.
together.
Don't be a
Okay.
pansy. Do
Okay,
it.
Google it.
So he he made sure to replace her eyes. So he put glass eyes in there. Her hair, of course, had fell out. So he, piled it all back up and he kind of put it up on top of her head and sewed it back in there. Oh, I'm more pissed off about her hair than any other thing else. That's because I look at it and I'm like, that looks nothing like how her hair
No,
was
oh
at
God,
all,
nothing.
like whatsoever.
She was
He,
gorgeous.
oh yeah, yeah. Of course, she's smelling a little bit, right? As dead people would. So he just douses her in perfume. That's his way of kind of, just, I don't know, disinfecting, whatever you want to call it. But he also, he replaced her insides with rags. But mind you, he thinks that she's going to come back to life, even with, I guess, rags for organs and all the things and the piano wire. And I say that because remember, Carl said that he built planes. He was building an aircraft, and that's what he calls it, an aircraft. It was Elena's aircraft, and he was going to take her to space where the radiation from space was going to bring her back to life.
Oh God.
Well, that's what he said. You can't make that up.
Oh,
Like,
he's a
yeah,
doctor. What do I know?
he's a doctor. He's a
Mm-mm.
doctor. He would be carrying in like boxes of perfume at a time and women's clothing. And what kills me is people never questioned this. Like they didn't have TV and shit. So like, the neighbors are watching and they're like, Carl doing? I noticed he's been carrying in boxes of perfume and women's clothing, and I ain't seen a woman come out of there or go in that house. So what's Carl doing? No one questioned it. Um, he would keep her in his bed at night. He slept beside her every
Oh
night.
God.
Yes, yes.
No.
Um, and this went on for 7 years. He had this body
I
in
forgot about
his
that one.
house every night for 7 years. In case you did not hear that, let me reiterate this one more time. He had a dead body who was his vision soulmate in his house for 7 years.
7.
He would serenade, yes, 7, not 7 days, not 7 months.
7 days.
You will die in 7 days. But for 7 years, that's a long time.
God, the
A long,
smell
long
must
time.
have been rancid.
I also read that he apparently had an organ. Is that what that's called? Like the big, tall, like pipe piano looking thing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about?
yeah.
And he would play that late at night for her. Yeah. Look on your face.
So, okay, we all know the magnificent Tim Burton. This just it like screams Nightmare Before Christmas. Like
Don't do that. Don't ruin Disney movies. Is
I'm so he's got to get these ideas from somewhere.
Well, he looks like the doctor from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
He
So
does. Holy cow, you just plop him in a wheelchair and he is. And
he
he
looks
like
just like
sewed
him.
her together like Sally. Like it
He
is
did, and he
the
was really mean to Sally.
okay, well
He was such an
he wouldn't be mean to Elena.
what? He is
No.
being mean to her. She didn't
Well,
consent to
but
any of
it's out
this.
of love, but the doctor
She
was just
she didn't say, Carl, please sew me together with piano wire when
nobody
I'm like
didn't punish her like
dead for
the
seven
doctor did
years.
Sally, but I mean who knows where Tim Burton gets his ideas, okay? I'm just saying.
Well, it's
Carl could
very
have
yeah.
been inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, rumors started going around about, oh, Carl, because children would happen to notice in his window, it looked like Carl was dancing with an extremely large doll. And people are like, what's Carl doing? Like, Carl, you all right? Everything good in there, Carl?
I just imagine
Um,
seeing the silhouettes from the street.
well, I would be concerned if I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard this organ being played really loudly and like,
No, people play
who does
music. You don't know what he's
an
doing.
organ? An organ, Ashley? Like
Back then, I mean, they had pianos, but like organs were a big thing back then.
at 2:30 in the morning, Ashley, you're
Maybe he was
like,
feeling inspiration from God himself and he wanted to practice his church hymns. You don't know.
he ain't practicing no church hymns when he's got a dead ass body in his house.
All right.
Like
It's weird.
I love it. I
I'm
love
trying
that
to
you're
help you count,
trying your
Carl.
best. And normally it's me trying to excuse the behaviors. He has no excuse. I'm sorry.
I was, wasn't I? Oh my gosh.
You was.
We just flipped.
You are trying to condone his behaviors and his actions, and that is not acceptable. Anywho,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I forgive you.
All right.
So, part of the people that began to get suspicious was Elena's family. Now, most of them had already died from tuberculosis. Her sister was still alive, though. And she's like, you know what? That creepy ass, weird looking old man that used to come to my house all the time to try to take care of my sister. He ain't been at that mausoleum he built for my sister. He was going there every day for 2 years. So something's up. So she decides that she is going to confront Carl at his house. And so she knocks on the door and he answers. And she's like, all right, Carl, I'm going to need you to take me to go see my sister. I need to go to the mausoleum.
Ooh.
And what do you think that Carl said? he, he,
There's
he
no
didn't
reason
say.
to take her to the mausoleum while she's
He
right
didn't.
here.
Yeah, he said, yeah, you don't got to go to the mausoleum. She's upstairs. Come on.
Come
Like,
on in. I'll
but
make a
what
pot of
kills me is
coffee.
this girl. She went in. She went in the house. I'm sorry, but
Listen, the
if Ryan
smell.
did this to you, and I had my suspicions, and I came to Ohio, and I knocked on the door and was like, "You ain't been to that mausoleum in years." and I need to know where Ashley's body is. And he looked at me and said, well, she's upstairs. Come right on. I would not enter the house. I would be calling 911 immediately. Like, I'm just,
100%.
I would be so angry if he did any of this to you.
Oh, I would haunt him
I
for the
would be
rest of
so
his
upset.
life.
I would haunt Nathan. I would
That's
not. I would, yeah, don't. Especially if he did that to my hair. I would be so
you are
angry.
so.
Like,
She is so upset about her hair.
and her eyebrows.
Oh,
They,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he did draw eyebrows, though. I forgot to tell you that part. So she goes on in the house. They go upstairs. And when she enters the bedroom, she's just staring. And she's like, that is not my sister. And he's like, well, of course it is. Like, this is Elena. Why aren't you excited to see her? She's excited to see you. Like, you are putting Elena in distress. And you,
She just told me she's so happy you're here.
yeah, and they go back and forth about this. So eventually she contacts law enforcement. Law enforcement comes, and of course, this very much is a dead body. So they arrest Carl, right?
Wait, oh God. You
What?
just said that she came in and she was in the bed. He slept with her, but slept with her how? Do I want to know?
Well, when they looked at her body, they
Okay.
did an autopsy. They did find rags, just like what we talked about before. The piano wire, the fabrics. But one thing that they also found was a tube
A tube.
inserted into. All right, so this is about to get graphic, just an FYI. But the tube was inserted in her vaginal cavity.
What purpose did the tube serve?
Access, Ashley, access. Think about a tube.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess at this point she's like,
Stop thinking
okay.
about it.
That's how my brain works, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay. There. Okay, he did. He did it.
I don't. Yes, I'm
Okay.
not going anymore. I mean, you are free after this episode if you want to go down that hole and literally that hole and look further into that. By
You just
all
made me rip
means,
my
you are
head.
welcome to do so. But our listeners have no desire to know any further. They're like, they're
Pun
like, this is
intended.
it. That's where they cut the episode off.
They're like, this
They're
is
like,
gross.
this is this is too much.
Thanks for
By the way, I'm still
listening.
more pissed off about the hair. Like, I'm more pissed off about the hair than I am even the tube.
Like,
But
listen, she looked like I say something out of the garage, but it literally paper mache. She literally looked like she made her like covered her whole face in paper mache, and she was just like, well, it didn't help that the picture was black and white either, but it was creepy. Ugh. But yeah,
yeah,
creepy, gross.
she.
But anyway,
I
the
wish there
cops
was.
arrive.
Yeah. So they arrive. They've arrested him. They did send the body off, as we just discussed. It was, examined. Obviously, this made the media. And you would think that people would be like, oh, I always knew that Carl was such a fucking creep. I knew he was a weirdo. We knew that Carl wasn't getting drunk and dancing. We knew he was up to fucked up shit. Like, but no, that's not how the town reacted. They looked at it as a beautiful love story. Yes, they looked at it as a beautiful love story, even though she did not consent to any of this at all.
That's
So while his trial is going on, obviously they're like, people don't just get dead bodies and store them in their house and put rags for organs inside of them. That's not normal. Something tells me you're mentally ill. So they did order a psychiatric evaluation for Carl. The worst psychologist known to man, who probably also called himself a doctor that wasn't a doctor, is the one that performed this evaluation. And he claimed that he was competent and knew, yeah. He's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with him. This is normal.
it's
Yeah.
normal. Okay.
It pisses my inner psychology major personnel off. Like, I'm like,
I mean,
That
he was
that's not
believing
normal.
like everything.
He thought that he could put her in a aircraft and send her to space, and that the radiation from space was going to revive
Yeah,
her.
that just screams
That's
mental
not
problems.
normal. Well, they deemed him competent,
And like, but
and
he let this go
he
on for years and he fully believed she was alive, really. How is that normal?
yeah, it's not,
If
but
somebody
they
were to do
deemed
that
him to be
today, they'd end
competent.
up in your hospital.
Oh fuck yeah, they would like absolutely. Yeah, it's not normal, but they deemed him competent. Coffee time, hold on.
Coffee, coffee, coffee.
So he's competent. That means he can stand trial. And unfortunately, he really wasn't charged with anything because it was like outside the statute of limitation. And meanwhile, while court's going on, they let schools out early for this whole event, like it's a holiday, and they put Elena's
Mm.
body on display so that people in the town can come and gawk at her even more, as if she hasn't already been through
I
enough,
know. Poor thing.
because it was a beautiful love story that she didn't consent to at all.
Whatsoever. She barely
So,
knew him.
yes, yes, she barely knew him. It was on the front page of the paper. He gets out of all of this. He gets no nothing. He and they're like, "All right, we're gonna go on our merry way." And he's like, "Hey, can I have my wife back now?" And they're like,
I love that so much.
"No, sir, you don't. No,
You're
you
not
don't get to have."
understanding.
Yes. So, because the fear that obviously if they put her somewhere where it's marked, he's just going to go get her again. So she loses in every bit of this, right? Because she's put in an unmarked grave. So no
Yeah.
one knows where Elaine is. I know, it's so
Oh, that's
sad.
terrible.
Yes, that she can't even have a fucking marker because this guy wants to dig her up and send her to outer space.
I wonder if they at
For
least told her family where she, like, which one she was.
I don't think that they did. I don't
No,
think
he
that
would
they
probably
told
stalk them to
anybody.
find out.
Right. He's disgusting.
Ugh.
He's such an asshat. Like,
And we did
ugh.
not mention, so there is a picture that you can Google, and it's literally her on display. Like, they show, like, townspeople standing around her. Like, you don't see their
Yes!
heads, but you see their bodies around her. And it's really sad. What?
It was like over 7,000 people went and looked at her.
Ugh, it's terrible.
Yes. And what's sad is she probably didn't even know 700 people, and nor had that many people at her actual funeral where people could come look at her and, get one last glance before
Yeah,
she goes. Well, we can't even say rest in peace because she didn't get any of that. Her
none.
body got stuffed and everything. While for ugh,
What
he's
was he
so
charged
gross.
with?
Well, he wasn't charged with anything.
Oh, you did say he got away with it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, because of statute of limitations. I think that the original charges was, I guess I
Gross.
guess you would say concealing grossness. Yes, that was it.
Or, no,
Grossness,
what is it?
concealing a dead body, um, tampering with a dead body. What's the word? I can't
Gross
think, but
abuse of a
I know
corpse is what I was thinking.
abuse of a corpse.
Yeah.
But he, again, it was like outside the statute of limitations, and it's like, which I don't understand where their idea of the set, like, to me, it would fall within statute of limitations, but it's like I guess they're looking at it from the day that he got her, and they're like, "Oh, we know you've had her this whole time." But if we would have been here a few years sooner,
Yeah.
then yeah, we'd be all right. Like that doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
That's
So he's pissed, right? Because he can't have his wife back. Supposedly, well, it's not supposedly. I shouldn't say it like that. But the mausoleum it was demolished just not long after all that happened. They never did find who actually demolished it. I kind of think Carl probably built a bomb, and he was so
he
angry,
was
and
so
he's like,
pissed
"Oh,
he couldn't have her back. Oh, you know.
yeah." So he totally like destroyed the mausoleum. Now, We are going on to the year of 1952. Carl is found in his apartment deceased, but right beside him, he had created apparently what he called in his journal the Elena death mask. He made a mask that looked just like her, and he put it on
Ugh.
I don't know what, and he died literally in the arms of this thing that was wearing the Elena death mask. And that is our story.
That is beyond not healthy. Like it, it's it's one thing. Like I could see somebody who was in a long-term relationship pining over the love of their life. It still would be weird that they'd make a mask of their spouse, let alone a man who didn't hardly know her, but just saw
Well,
her
yeah,
love at first sight type
he
deal.
was clearly mentally ill. There
Yeah.
was clearly something wrong. But again, whoever this dumbass is that did his psych eval was like, there's nothing wrong here. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that there's things are not wired correctly up here at all. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, that is our story though of
That
old
is
Count
Count
Carl
Carl.
von Hossel.
Ta-ta.
Yes.
All right. Well, now we get to ask the girls, bring them in, and give them their moments of
Well,
fame.
when we had, oops, there went my messenger. Sorry, but when we had originally talked to the girls, I think that they were very well disgusted with his behaviors. They
They
was
were,
not very happy.
yeah, they did not want to
And now
talk
they're
hardly at all.
no, they and now they're going to be like, I can't believe you're asking me about this
I already
jackass
answered your
again.
questions.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Can you hear it?
No. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, you can't. Okay. All right, ladies. What? So we want to know what.
They seem
They
so
already know.
irritated.
They're like, what? They are so irritated. We need to know about Count Carl von Costel. Why did you hear it? Why?
Oh, I thought it said odd.
I thought they said why.
Okay.
All right. For Ashley's sake, was the tube placed there for necrophilia purposes? It was.
Oh, my God.
Is Elena resting in peace now? Oh, that was a really clear yes. Yes.
Did her sister get to know where she was?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, did her sister get to learn where she was buried at? No.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, that's so
It
sad.
is. So she got to rest in peace, but nobody got to mourn
Nobody
her.
got to ever go pay their respects or
Yeah,
anything.
that's sad. Did that?
Do you think that oh go ahead,
No,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you think that Carl had a mental illness? He did.
Yeah,
That was really
yep.
clear.
Despite
He
not
did.
having loved ones come and visit her and pay their respects, was she at least at peace when they left her unmarked?
Is is Elena okay with her grave being
Yeah, was she
unmarked?
okay with it? Yeah.
I can't make any of
I
that
know.
out.
Maybe she was because they did say she was at peace. So then she had to have been
I
okay
think
with it.
so. Honestly, if that was me, I would totally be at peace because I wouldn't want to be stalked
I
anymore.
just would have been upset. I wouldn't have been okay with it needing to be unmarked because then my family wouldn't know where I was at. But if it put me at peace, then yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, did Count Carl get peace when he made his mask? Like, was that satisfying enough for him?
Yeah, was Count Carl's mask satisfying enough for him? No. Of
I
course
didn't
it
think so.
doesn't.
I didn't think so. He's
Sick
a weirdo.
asshole. Like,
It didn't feed his needs.
it didn't feed his needs.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Stop it. All right. Let's. Was the wagon a radio flyer wagon?
All right. Was the wagon a radio flyer wagon? No.
Dang it.
You gotta love it. She's
Ruined the
dang it.
whole image. I
It
had this
ruined the whole
whole
image.
vision in my head. I'll just believe it's true. He did.
You can believe it if you want to.
I mean, he's not mentally unstable.
Oh, I got one. Hey, was Count Carl the inspiration for the Nightmare Before Christmas? No.
No,
Okay.
God, that was so quick.
They're like, no,
They're lying. They're trying to
don't do
protect
that to
Tim
us.
Burton.
She doesn't mean it.
We know what he did. He stole this story. I'm just kidding.
Right. Do you have any other questions?
Da, da, da. Did she like all the things he did to her body?
I'm sure she didn't. Hey, that's weird. Did you hear that? That's weird. Did she like all the things that he did to her body? No. Will someone help me? Did you hear that? That was
No,
really clear.
I couldn't make out what it said. That's probably what she was saying when he was doing it.
He was so...
Did she at least like her hair?
Did she like her hair? No. I heard no. And yeah,
Jody doesn't like it either, so it's fine.
I don't like it either. That's correct.
All right. I don't think I have any more. There wasn't. I mean, it
I
was all
don't have
pretty laid
anything
out
else
clear.
either. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you, ladies.
thank you. All right. Well, that was Mr. Count Carl. What's his last
Who
name?
wasn't even a real count.
No.
Count. Well, he called himself on Castle, but it really was Carl Tanzler.
That was his real name?
That was his real name. Was Carl Tanzler.
You guys, I didn't know that. That was not discussed. And then we had to Google what a count was, didn't we? Like, what is
I
the
don't
real?
think so.
Yeah. Oh, we Google. I swear we Googled something, but I
I
don't
don't
know what
remember
a
that. Maybe
count
you
really
did.
is.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe you Googled it. So
maybe outside of this, but um,
maybe.
we are open to on Jody's Linktree on our social medias. You can find our email. You can honestly comment it on anything. We take suggestions. Throw us out cases you think we might like or you want to hear us cover. We like the
Yes.
weird. We like the gross stuff. We like the gory stuff. We like things that'll blow your
I'm a
mind.
screwed up
Yeah.
individual. There's a good chance that you all already follow me on TikTok, so you know if it's something weird and unusual, I'm probably going to like it.
Yeah. Try to give us one that you feel we've never heard. We like those.
Yes. Challenge accepted.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the big cases, they've been covered by a ton of people. You're just getting really, we all know the facts. You're just getting all of our outside opinions, I guess, or our
Mm-hmm.
personal opinions when it comes to those. But,
Yes.
like, we want to bring you guys stuff that, like, is not saturated and overdone.
Right.
So give us some cases. Let us know.
Yes.
Teach us something.
Teach me something. Yes.
All right. Well, we again thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.